So I wanted to make a video about stimming because it's something that I didn't think about a lot before I was diagnosed, but now it's something that I've noticed a lot more in myself and realized that I actually do stim more than I thought I did. So there's a couple different types of stims, which someone I follow on TikTok named Kai has made a wonderful series of videos explaining the different types of stims, so I will put their handle in the description so that you can find them too and watch those fantastic videos. So the first set of stims I'm going to talk about are tactile stims. Actually, I think that this is one of my tactile stims. I didn't even write it down, but I brushed my hair out of my face because it really bothers me when it's in my eyes. But also, my hair is soft, especially if I took a shower yesterday, so my hair is particularly soft right now, which is part of the reason that I don't dye my hair a ton, because I really don't like the texture it gets. But if you take care of your hair, obviously, you can still have soft hair and it can be colored. But I don't like cold showers, and that's part of taking care of colored hair. Anyway, I'm off topic. So, tactile stims. I have a couple stress balls. So, this one I got off of Stimtastic, which is a fantastic website. This was like $1. It's very stiff on the inside. It's like a foam. And then the outside is like a rubbery, stretchy. And I like this one quite a bit. It's a little firm for my liking. I work with kids, and they're at that location. They have some that I think the one I got off Amazon, and I was not able to find the same ones because I really like those. They're like this, but they're just a little bit softer on the inside. But I assume with time this one will hopefully loosen up a little bit. But it's good for really, you can split the foam and then you can roll it back together in a ball. So yeah, this one's nice. And then if you don't have the funds to get one, or you don't like ones that are that firm, I actually have one that I've made out of at a semester shutdown I think it was last fall. Yeah, back in the fall. And this is just flour inside of a balloon, wrapped in another balloon to make sure that it doesn't leak. I tied the first one, the second one I didn't tie, but you can tie it. I think it's fun to kind of play with this, how it sticks to itself. But this one's a lot softer, and if you do like a thicker balloon, it'll be a little bit harder, and it won't maybe stay to the shape that you push it the same. So there's a lot of options there. I also got this off Stimtastic, which didn't cost very much, but it's like a silicone brush, and it's really fun to stim with. It's just a really neat texture. You can put it on your face, and I think that it's a really fun thing to roll around. It's a lot of sensation because there's all these little pokey bits. They're not hard, obviously. They're just super soft. But yeah, this is a really fun thing to stim with. I also got some chewies off of Stimtastic, which I had considered for a long time but never gotten. So I got this one and this one. This one's for really heavy chewers. I find that, one, I have a really quite the gag reflex, and so I have a hard time chewing on this because sometimes it will make me gag. But it's relatively sturdy. I keep being afraid I'm going to go through it, though. I've already got some bite marks on it. I don't think you can see that. My camera's not good enough, but it's pretty sturdy, but I'm scared that I'm going to bite through it a little bit. This one's more for just the tactile part. It's got lines on it, so it's more for the sensation of feeling those lines. This one's not nearly as sturdy as this one. I also got this to suck on, which I can do, but again, with the gag reflex, I haven't used these as much as I thought I would. But my alternative most of the time is, that I've been using for forever, is chewing gum. I have chewed gum I've obviously had chewing gum since I was little, but I didn't realize until more recently that it's something I actually use to stim. I chew it in class almost all the time, or at least as often as I'm allowed to, because of course some classes you're not supposed to have anything resembling food. But I've found that it's really useful for me to help focus, because I like to have things in my mouth, so I will also sometimes tactile stim with like chips because they're crunchy, and I like to have something in my mouth and that flavor, especially if I get bored. So chewing gum is a really good route for me because I'm able to stim, but I'm not eating, and it's not using my hands, but it's something that I can still be doing while I'm doing other things. And I also really like soft things, and so that's another tactile stim. This is a stuffed bear that I have. I really like soft blankets. I also have a weighted blanket, which is another type of tactile stim. I don't use that one too much in the summer because it gets too warm, but I really like that. And like also my partner will sometimes lay on me if I'm feeling really stressed out, and that's a very helpful and relaxing stim for me. And then also another one that I noticed that I've done for a really long time but didn't think of as a stim was I'll play with my necklaces. I think it's a really fun feeling across my lips, and sometimes I'll just play with it. And so that one was one of the ones that I noticed was something I've been doing for a long time. I just didn't realize it was a stim. And I also have the bad habit of chewing my nails and sometimes picking at my lips, which I tried to replace with other stims, but obviously that's not always as easy as it sounds. So I know those ones are pretty common too. For taste stims, I'm not sure exactly how these are related to same foods, but I think that there's definitely some overlap here. I really like nachos. I'm not supposed to have corn, so that's really difficult, but I love nachos with like melted cheddar cheese, and I really like the crunchiness and then the flavor of the cheese together, so I'm pretty sure that's a taste stim there. As well as like ginger snaps are one of my favorite. They're such a fun food to eat. Because they have the crunch, but they also have a really good flavor. So I'm sure that I have plenty of taste stims. I'm just not sure how those overlap with same foods. That's something that I'd be interested in learning more about. And then auditory stims. Sometimes I'll just make up songs to myself. I have a pet rat. Her name is Maple. And sometimes I'll just sing to her and talk to her. When I'm home alone, I talk to the dogs all the time. I've always been a very talkative person, so I think that that's a bit of an auditory stim there. I also experience a little bit of echolalia. A lot of the time it's just in my head, words will repeat. I remember one of the first times I noticed that, I had RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, just repeating in my head, and I eventually just had to say it out loud. But for me it's interesting because a lot of the time if I say it out loud, it doesn't satisfy that like urge unless somebody else hears it, and I'm not really sure why, so that's another kind of interesting thing. And then I really love listening to music. I have these really nice headphones. They're a little bit I wish that they went a little bit shorter. Decorated them with fun stickers, as you can see, because I have Finding Nemo stickers, and I love this one. This one's my favorite. But I will just put on music, and that actually for me ties into vestibular stimming. I love stim dancing. So I will just put on music and let my body move around. I'll go outside and dance around on the patio. And that's a really, really good stim for me that I need to do more often, because it always makes me feel really good afterwards. It's a really good way to release energy without having to follow some sort of like specific workout or specific. I don't have to follow any rules. I just move how I want to move, and that's something that I really enjoy. And then when I'm nervous and when I'm happy, I hand flap sometimes, and so when I'm nervous it's usually down by my legs and I just kind of going like this. And I know that's one that my partner's definitely picked up on, so like if we're in Walmart and it's super crowded, then that's something that I'll start doing. And I've noticed I also start doing some auditory stims sometimes where I go like just small noises when I'm really stressed out, but also when I'm happy. So like when I found out that I get to live in an apartment next year, I was super excited, and I go like this, and sometimes I jump up and down. So I do kind of some of that hand flapping, which I think is something I've started to do more since my diagnosis, because I allow myself to stim more, because I recognize that it's healthy and it's not hurting anyone, so there's no reason not to do it. So yeah, those are my main. Oh, and of course, pen clicking, always fun. So I have definitely bothered other people with that one in the past. So those are some of my favorite stims, or my more common stims, some of the things I've noticed since I've gotten diagnosed, and some of the things that I've done all along and just now realized were stims. So drop some of your favorite stims in the comments so we can all kind of share what we do and try new things and maybe find some new favorite stims. Because like Kai says, if you find a stim and you try it and it works for you, then that stim was yours all along. It was meant to be. So yeah.